Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for my continued followers, I want to thank you. And today I want to talk about Lululemon. Who is familiar with Lululemon? I've been hearing about it for years. And of course, I don't shop there, but it is a woman's apparel company. And there is some interesting commentary that took place with the guy who originally founded the company in some interviews he's done over the last few years. Founder Dennis Chip Wilson of Lululemon, which is a yoga-inspired athletic apparel company. He is 68 years old and from San Diego, California. He has a net worth of $7 billion. He founded Lululemon in 1998. He served as the CEO until 2005 when he sold 48% of his company to a private equity firm. And then in 2013, he stepped down as non-executive chairman. And then in 2015, he stepped down from the board of directors. He said in a Bloomberg interview that some customer complaints was because the wrong size women was wearing his clothes, stating that, frankly, some women's bodies just actually don't work for wearing Lululemon pants. It's really about the rubbing through the thighs. How much pressure is there over a period of time? He said he doesn't like DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion policy, and that Lululemon was trying to become the Gap, everything for everybody. So this gentleman is basically saying, the ex-CEO Dennis Chip Wilson, that he didn't make his clothes for everybody, and we have to give him a measure of latitude in his honesty. He said women in the ads look unhealthy and sickly in his 2015 interview. So when the woke movement started coming to the forefront, you saw Sports Illustrated, like the swimsuit issue that used to be thin, young, beautiful women. Then they started putting older women in their swimsuit edition, let alone healthier, or you could even say chubby or overweight women, or average size women, to appeal to the entire marketplace. Sports Illustrated did that, but when the ex-CEO said Lululemon was not designed for that, not at all, and he didn't like it. He said that in 2013 that some women's bodies just don't work for the pants. And of course he's gone now, and you have a new CEO, Calvin McDonald, who started this initiative on trying to market to all types and shapes and ages of women to wear Lululemon. But the guy who started Lululemon, Chip Wilson, he said, no, my clothes are for young, thin, rich white women. Lululemon has been accused of a culture that is unwelcoming to black people. They had a previous incident in Hyde Park, Chicago, in their locations where 6 black employees filed complaints alleging racial discrimination with the EEOC. Companies like this are using DEI to cover up legal battles. He said that their companies are hiring black folks just to cover themselves from an affirmative action or diversity, equity, and inclusion standpoint. And you're seeing a lot of wealthy white male patriarchal guys that are really against this DEI thing. We all know that the federal government abolished affirmative action a year ago, and now they have this new acronym called DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. And if you remember, with Dr. Claudine Gay, who just got fired from being the president of Harvard University. Billionaire Bill Ackman, who was a Harvard grad and a huge benefactor and fundraiser for Harvard, he did not like Claudine Gay, Dr. Gay, being the president, an African American woman, the first of its kind. She was the 30th president at Harvard and first black, and had the shortest tenure of only 6 months. But Bill Ackman was real big behind not wanting Claudine Gay as the president and subsequently wanting her to get fired due to the anti-Semitic rhetoric that was taking place on campus. And then later they said she committed plagiarism in her dissertation. So you're seeing a heavy preponderance of, as I said, white men over 50 that are entitled, wealthy, and rich, that don't like diversity and inclusion, as if one of their children or friends is not going to get hired and be replaced by somebody of color, which is ludicrous. If you look at still 98% of the Fortune 500 companies, hedge funds are all run by white males. Very few white women you see as CEOs, CFOs, very few black women, and definitely very, very, very few black men. So diversity, equity, and inclusion has not made a big dent in changing the cultural narrative of the business world, academic world, and any of those things of that nature. Lululemon really is a company for white chicks, thin, with a lot of money. That's really who they're marketing to. Typically, white companies created by old white men placing parameters on women should look at their own appearance. Why do we have all these older white men, even Lex Wexner, who owns Victoria's Secret and a ton of companies? Why are we having them, older white guys, be the measuring stick for what women should look like in today's time? That does not make an ounce of sense. No wonder why many women, especially white women, have pressure for body images even into their older ages. It's very hard to look 20 when you're 50, post having 3 kids, for example. This is an unrealistic expectation placed on women, while the man at 50 years old looks like he's 50 years old with a dad body. That's okay. But she wants his wife, or 50 and 55-year-old, 45-year-old women, post-children, or post-menopause, to look 20. It's an unrealistic expectation. The founder really doesn't want black women wearing Lululemon apparel, similar to, remember in the past, Tommy Hilfiger and Abercrombie and Fitch years ago. This is nothing new. And you have seen many companies like Tommy Hilfiger that came out years ago saying that he was not designing his clothes for people of color. And we steadily go out and purchase these items from these kinds of companies. And many of these companies are like that. Gucci, Louis Vuitton. And it's okay for them to say it. Every company has its own target market that they're going after. And in today's time, everybody is so sensitive about speaking their truth. The same thing applies even on YouTube or in the media. To have any kind of anti-Semitic or anti-Arab rhetoric, you will get lambasted. So there's very little room for you to jump on a particular bandwagon, even if you're white or black, like Black Lives Matter or pro-black. It makes you sound like you're a separatist, a racist, and not inclusionary. But I think for some of these companies and these founders, for them saying that, hey, they designed these clothes for this particular target market, I don't necessarily see what the problem is. I think he is at least honest about his overt racism and sexism, that he only wants young, rich, skinny white women to buy and wear his clothes, and that's where it should be marketed. Like I said, what happens to the 50-year-old white lady, that white woman that's been married for 25 years and had children, or even is post-menopause, and she's having a little trouble taking off the weight, but she can still wear Lululemon. What is the problem with that? Or curvy women of color. What is wrong with that? Everybody's built differently, and circumstances are different, and physical anomalies and anatomy is different. And so I think even though some companies may target a certain marketplace, I think they do themselves a disservice by not trying to sell to everyone. When you talk about Coca-Cola, McDonald's, Coca-Cola wants everybody to drink Coca-Cola. McDonald's wants everybody to buy McDonald's. Whole Foods wants everybody to come into their grocery store. It's not segmented to one group of people. And in today's time with the Me Too movement, if you are on the social media or on these media platforms and you're targeting just one particular area or one particular group, then it makes you look like a separatist. And that's not a good look to have when you're trying to run a company and it's based on profits and loss, and how you can maximize and scale your business. But like I said, many luxury brands have been that way. But the hypocrisy with these luxury brands, even like Tommy Hilfiger in the past and Abercrombie, they still would use, due to the advent and the popularity of hip hop, they still will use a hip hop artist in their marketing campaign to promote their products. They'll pay a Kanye West, they'll pay a Beyonce to wear their clothes, for example. However, they don't want people that look like them to necessarily buy and support the brand. So there's a level of hypocrisy there, most definitely. So yeah, I wanted to put up a video about Lululemon and the ex-founder and how he was making blanket statements about who he wanted to wear his apparel: skinny, thin, young, white females. He almost sounds a little bit like Hugh Hefner with Playboy. If you notice, that was his heavy promotion, was young, white, thin, looked a certain kind of way, marketing ploy to make Playboy one of the biggest magazines of all time. Same thing with Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret went through that whole phase where young, tall, thin, beautiful models. Then they went through a period where they started doing the woke movement, using trans models, handicap, heavy set models, and they lost billions of dollars as a result. And now they stopped the runway show, and now they're revamping and they're bringing it back with their old stereotype and mantra of the tall, skinny, particularly white, young model. So you're seeing this has been an historical perspective in marketing for many of these companies, especially in the fashion and apparel business. The woke movement did do a great job by trying to be inclusionary with all types of other people. It takes, America is a melting pot, that it takes all kinds of colors, hues, shades, sizes to make the world go round. That's what America is all about. So the ex-CEO, Chip Wilson, is a little bit hypocritical by being a patron of America and all of its essence and freedoms, but he wants to put a stranglehold and restrict and make his company conservative, going towards one type of patron that he's looking for: young, white, thin female for his yoga pants. And that's not where we're at in 2024. So take a look at it. Tell me what you think on this subject about Lululemon and the ex-CEO wanting to target just a small segment of the American population to wear and promote his apparel, and that he did not design it for all shapes and sizes of women, and he only wanted one particular segment that we've heard about forever and has been marketed and promoted forever, and times have changed.